Hey, um, hey there. Well, I wanted to give everybody kind of like a little update on the channel and stuff, and just stuff in general, and just progress and stuff like that. And you know, as a human being, you're going to go through stretches of life where it's going to be just a freaking challenge. And I've been recently going through one of those. So between getting laid off before the holidays and the incredible difficulty I'm having right now trying to find another high paying job, uh, to sickness, some health issues, and then just a lot of crazy things. For example, the reason why I haven't had any new episodes of Inside the Creative Mind out lately has been kind of twofold. One, yeah, I've had a whole lot of stuff going on in the background. But secondly, just the weirdest things that have happened. I sat here while actually editing a video and watched my computer. First, the monitor kind of flickered like it was, going out or something like that. I was going, oh, that's weird. And I hear all this popping and crackling. And I look over and I see flame coming out of the computer, then a ton of smoke. It was only physically on fire for a few seconds, but it freaked me out enough where I was like, oh, I'm going to have to put this out somehow. And But anyway, yeah, just the house smelled like burnt electronics for a hot minute. So I lost that whole computer. Luckily, I've learned my lessons with computers many moons ago to have all my data elsewhere, and then using the benefits of Google and Microsoft to kind of sync browser information, stuff like that. So it wasn't as catastrophic a loss as what you might think when something like that happens. So that was obviously quite a setback. And then some scheduling things and just trying to get back on track has just been painful. And it brought me to want to give a message with respect to all this. And it's not like, oh, woe is me and poor, pity party for myself. That's not what I'm doing. I want to talk about perseverance, though, because I do think that's one of our more admirable traits that you can have as a human being. Life is cruel sometimes, life is unfair sometimes, and life will throw you some shit sandwiches left and right. And how you handle it, how you go through that process says more about your character than when times are good. Anybody can do good times. When things are a little rough is when you see true character. And I got to tell you, I keep thinking about when I was 18 years old, and it was myself, my friend Dave Ingberg, um, I think Bobby Martin, and Gerard Spills, and the four of us drove in my car up to a place called Bannister Mall, which is no longer there, and they had a place called Fun Factory, an arcade, and we were up there late. They were open I don't think they were open 24 hours, but I think they were like open till like midnight or some kind of, it was like the only thing that was open that late. And so we were up there and we were the last people to get out of the place. They were basically throwing us out. And when we came outside, we started walking to the car. The car was like suddenly had other cars parked around it. So where I parked was, there wasn't really nobody there. All of a sudden we see these other cars that are all parked around that car, my car. And somebody yells something down, and then Dave yells something back, and then they're like, hey, motherfucker. And so next thing I know, there's this dude, probably, the captain of the football team, just big, bulky, huge dude, arms the size of my legs, comes up to me and he goes, yeah, I'm talking to you. Colorful description. I'm talking to you. And so he hauls off and just cold cocks me. knocks me back about 10 feet. And it was in that moment I kind of looked back up. And when I looked behind him to look at him, I could see that there was a guy up on the hillside there. And he's up there swinging chucks, you know. And the crazy thing, I got to go back a second here. The crazy thing was we were in a scramble to get the car unlocked. I got the car unlocked. And then all three of those guys jumped in. And then this guy was on me before I could get inside the driver door. And so, you know, quite literally, I was getting ready to put the keys in the you know thing. And Gerard actually locked my door, you know, to keep this guy from getting in. And which, you know, I had words with him afterwards about that. But yeah, so this guy hits me, and I'm surveying, you know, the situation, and I realized, you know, if I go up and I just, you know, give this guy what he wants, which is a fight, this is going to end pretty badly, you know. This is something that's been planned. These guys were looking for this. This is what they were trying to achieve. So I surveyed it, and I was like, nope, this is not what we're going to do. So the guy hits me again, and again, this time I planted my feet a little different. And so I took the punch, and I just turned back around. I just, you know, kind of like glared at him a little bit. And because I didn't hit the ground, because his punches didn't land the way he had anticipated, which probably did with everybody else he had been, you know, done this to, fucking bullies. I think it startled him a little that my reaction wasn't what he was expecting. So he's like, yeah, you get in the car, you get out of here. You know, well, you still can, you know, all the colorful things he was calling me, homosexual references, you know, all kinds of things, you know, that this guy was calling me. Not that I care, you know. But so we got in the car and we left. But I the reason my brain goes back to that is, you know, that's the day I realized, you know, you can take a punch figuratively and literally. And so throughout my life, every time anything's happened where it's kind of got me down a little bit, I keep going back to that moment and going, you know, get the fuck up. Excuse me. Get up off the ground, get up and fight. So whenever life gives me a series of unexpected shit sandwiches, that's how I react. I just double down, pull up my pants, and get after it. So I'm glad to be back to getting some episodes recorded. It's been a second to be able to do that, and yeah, I'm excited to get back with it. Here in a couple hours, or here in about an hour or so, I've got my first interview back with the incredible Mr. Chris Bruders, and I'm really excited to get back with this. I got to follow up with so many people now that I got, you know, computers up and running again. So yeah, it's been a weird ride, but thank you, and thanks, you know, to all the artists and musicians out there. You know, life is going to have these setbacks. Life has these things. And I'm telling you, you know, you can set yourself apart from everybody else by just the tenacity to say, nope, you're not beating me. I'm going to get up and I'm going to do this again, and I'm going to win. It takes that. It takes that kind of tenacity to say, I will persevere. And I think, you know, on a more esoteric level, we all need to adopt that and take that in today's world. Is we're not going to be beat. We're not going to be beat down. We're not going to be taking these punches. So just my happy thoughts for the day. I hope you have a wonderful day. Go out there and do something creative. Be kind to somebody. Tell somebody you appreciate them, and get up off the canvas if you've been knocked down. You can do it. You can do it, and you can thrive. Peace.